Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia's residence. As you can see, we have youth and women who are gathered at his residence. And Dr. Bawumia, he arrived this evening around 6 to 7 here at Wale, waiting to pass his vote tomorrow. So as you can see from the background and behind me, you can see that is his house over there. We have women and children who are gathered to welcome His Excellency, the Vice President, and the candidates. So right now I am at Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia's residence here in Wale.
And he's arrived there to vote tomorrow. That's where his vote is. But tell us about the people. You've been interacting with them. What have they been telling you?
Right. I spoke with some of them, and in fact, they are eager to vote for their brother, uncle, who is also a people from Wale here. I've been speaking to some of them, and I asked them what would influence their votes. Some of them have been telling me that they are happy to see their own on the ballot paper, which is the person of Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. So here in Wale, most of the people are saying that they are eager to vote for Bawumia because he is coming from here, and they know that Bawumia is going to do more than expected. So here in Wale, majority are saying that they are voting for Bawumia because he is from Wale and a man from their own.
Thank you very much. A correspondent there in the Wale constituency. This is the Northeast region. Solomon, appreciate you. This is your election command center. That's the home constituency of the vice president, the flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. But Kemini, if you look at this constituency, the Wale constituency, there's a lot that's been happening there prior to today. Haji Azueratu, who was or is the incumbent.
Right.
MP, but hold on a bit. Let's go back to the Wale constituency. Solomon, what's going on? You wanted to say something quickly?
All right, the crowd, they have just come to me that they don't understand why I am doing the report here. And so they just gathered and questioning why I am live right at the Vice President's residence.
What's your concern? That you're live there and doing a report? Hello, Solomon. Unfortunately, we lost Solomon there. But we would want to confirm Solomon's safety, and we'll go back there because earlier we just got information that some persons were not too happy that he was doing this. But this is one thing that we would have to go back and just check that all is well with him, because he just wanted to let us know Dr. Bawumia has arrived in his home constituency. He's there to vote. I mean, what's the concern really in there? So it's something we'll keep an eye on as well and let our viewers into it as we go on. But I was talking about the Wale constituency, Kemini. The incumbent lost under very controversial circumstances. In fact, he had to take a court this ruling to have Dr. Tiakabiru Mahama, who is also an aide to Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, represent the MPP there. But the NDC candidate, Kemini, has a PNC background. And this Wale constituency is originally a PNC seat.
Absolutely.
So this man has really proven his mettle over the period from 2008 as a PNC candidate, and then now on the NDC ticket. See how things play out.
Absolutely. You know, I've heard... Are we going back to Wale, Alfred?
Yeah. Well, let's go back, because we need to establish with that Solomon as well. Solomon, can you hear me? Are you okay?
Yes, I am okay. So I have some of them gathered here, and in fact, they are even willing to talk to us. Initially, somebody came and says that he doesn't understand why I am doing the report here, but I can see a number of them here who are saying there is nothing wrong about the reports I am making here, and they are even willing to speak with us.
So speak with them, right? Solomon, speak with them.
All right, so you have been awake and you are at the Vice President's residence. Why are you still awake by this time?
Yeah, because we are happy that the president is coming from Wale here, Northern region, So we are proud of him. We want him to come, like, be our president. So I'll like, he'll help us in everything.
Why laughing? Stop laughing. Tell us why you are still awake by this time. All right, so thank you very much. You are willing to speak with us. All right,
Solomon, thank you very much. You're safe. That's the most important takeaway from these few minutes, Kemini. Is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to know that despite he being accosted earlier, some sanity and sensibilities have, prevailed, and he's safe wherever he is there at Dr. Baomia's residence in the northeast region in the Wale Wale constituency. But Alfred, you were making a point about Wale Wale because I've heard people say that, listen, the vice president and NPP presidential candidates' inability to deal with the internal wranglings could cost them the seats in that area. But at the same time, right, you may have heard our in-house data analyst also say that Dr. Bawumia will deliver Northeast, and he will deliver Wale Wale as well. And so we'll leave Wale Wale to the voters, some of whom have lined up already at Dr. Bawumia's residence to have the final verdict on this one, because it sounds tricky at this point. You
would understand why some people also explain why Dr. Bawumia's silence was a good option, because Haja Zuwera has been described as his sister, right? And then Dr. Tia Kabiru Mahama is his aide. I mean, you're in a very conflicted situation like this. Yeah. Who are you going to support? So just be quiet about it publicly, but you know who you're going to support eventually. It would seem so. And you know what? Earlier on you had spoken about Efutu and how Efutu itself could play a critical role for the NPP in the central region. There's a lot of talk in my ear and it's distracting me from what I want to say. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's have a conversation with my guests and then we'll come back to the analysis. So, Alfred, put a pin in that one and then remind me later. In the studio with me is Senor Hosi. Senor, it's good to have you back.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. You seem to want to own me today.
Are you as ready as the people we have been speaking to so far for tomorrow?
I mean, the requirement on us as citizens is for us to discharge this civil responsibility. So we just don't have a right to do this. We are required to do that as part of our civil responsibilities as Ghanaians. So, I mean, everybody, if you need to sleep, go to bed. Those who want to enjoy us, I think there's going to be a fantastic time. The election command Ghana Decides TV3 is fantastic. It can keep you productively awake. But in the morning, prepare, plan, and go and exercise your franchise. If you do not participate in the process, you should definitely lose your right to actually engage in debating and arguing about the trajectory of our country. You can't be passive and still want to be active with your speech. I see. This is the minimum you can do. It costs nothing. But it's also quite an interesting phenomenon. I was looking at my son. He buys nothing for anybody in the house. He's a young lad. He's 16 years. Very soon, he's going to be 18. And I'm wondering, this guy's still going to be school. We're going to be feeding him, paying his school fees, and thanks to universal suffrage, he and I will have the same vote and power at the poll. I mean, that just makes sense. I was looking at him and we were debating yesterday. They told me, yes, we have equal rights. I said, okay, that right will only be at the polling station, but not in my house.
It will end there, indeed. Indeed. You know what I want us to do now? We'll hand over to Alfred. We'll see some visuals and then comment on those visuals that we are seeing, mostly to do with the border closures. Alfred, where are you taking us now?
Let's go on the matter of these border closures. And earlier we had a conversation on it because there had been a release from the Interior Ministry announcing the temporary closure of all borders, that's land borders of Ghana, ahead of the December 7 general elections. and this has generated some disquiet as well.
Indeed.
I wanted to take a look at this.
Absolutely.
At the closure of the land border 6 p.m. today, some Togolese who came to Ghana for previous activity are willing to go back to Togo, their homeland country, but unfortunately, the borders are closed. You can see behind me some women, children, and some gentlemen are begging the security officials, precisely the immigration service officials here, to allow them to cross over to Togo, because they don't have their votes here in Ghana. They want to cross back to Togo. Earlier on, some Ghanaians who were stuck out at the other side of the border were screened. Most of them were marketing men, old men who went to work in Togo, children who went to visit their families in Togo. Precisely after screening them, they have been allowed to come home. Most of them are border residents around this vicinity. Reporting for TV3 Media General, Sylvia Awiye.
Sylvia, when you're there for us, and earlier, Martin Pebo raised that issue about the people who are going to be affected by the decision coming together to make their voices known and heard about how this is impacting on them. Let's go back to that area where Sylvia just brought us that video of these persons, Ghanaians living in Togo or having to leave, and the border closure now affecting them. Sylvia, now, where are you at the moment? And if you could tell us what is happening behind you, because we see a lot of activity behind you. Hello, Sylvia. Sylvia, if you can unmute for me, please. Hello? Yeah, unfortunately, we'll try to reconnect with Sylvia Awonye there. But, Kemini?
Indeed. And Alfred, you see, what we have just seen is from the Ketu South constituency. And again, this is an NDC stronghold. Not that many places in the Volta region are MPP stronghold. And these people are stranded at one of the land borders there. And you know, I'm very familiar with the Ketu South area. And like my earlier guest said, these are people who are only separated by physical boundaries. But by blood, many of them are cousins. And it doesn't make them Ghanaians or Togolese. So what if they have business to do here? What if these are not people from the area at all, but they need to use the border to be able to come inland to elsewhere to vote? These are things that, you know, my guests have raised before and continue to be key issues that we should have dealt with before the border closures. But how about while we wait to reconnect that, you know, that Zoom with Sylvia in the Ketu South constituency, we have a conversation with Senor. Senor, you're also very familiar with this place, aren't you?
I'm very familiar with the area. I used to be in charge of business development for a company some time back along the coast. So doing road trips there was quite a familiar activity for me. So there's everyday movement. For most of the movements, there are no passports to be stamped, if everybody will be honest about it. There's a working arrangement by all the parties. I must say I'm heartbroken. I am very disappointed, and I think that their rights are being trampled upon, and this shouldn't be happening in this time of our democracy. But we must situate everything properly. It's not the first time. So this is an activity with precedence. The disorder about this is the arbitrariness in which it's been exercised. No notification. You just do it abruptly. I don't know
hours to the election.
To what end or to what came. A couple of months ago, I took a drive to Benin for a funeral. I had an in-law who had lost the parent and came back just the next day. It could have been me going yesterday and me coming today. And you say me, my wife and children in my car to sleep at the border. It's unconscionable. It's unreasonable. That's not what the Constitution requires of us. And I mean, with your permission, let's all just visit our the directive principles of state policy that should actually govern or guide what we do. And it says for the directive principles, that's article 34. The directive principles of state policy contained in this chapter shall guide all citizens, Parliament, the President, the Judiciary, the Council of State, the Cabinet, political parties, and other bodies and persons in applying or interpreting this Constitution or any other law in taking and implementing any policy decisions for the establishment of a just and free society. When you go to 35 and you look at 35:4, it says the state shall cultivate among all Ghanaians respect for fundamental human rights and freedom and the dignity of the human person. And I bring you here because of the expressions here, the fundamental human rights and freedoms. Let's take another step back and look at 21, which talks about the general fundamental freedoms. All persons shall have the right to, I move to G, freedom of movement, which means the right to move freely in Ghana, the right to leave and to enter Ghana, and immunity from expulsion from Ghana. As a citizen, you can't be expelled from your own country. You know, now it gives conditions under which some of these can be varied, because remember, the submission here is talking about all. But when you look at that in 21:4, it's very, very interesting. It says that nothing in or done under the authority of a law shall be held to be inconsistent with or in contravention of this article to the extent that the law in question makes provision, and I jump to D, for the imposition of restrictions on the freedom of entry into Ghana or of movement in Ghana of a person who is not a citizen of Ghana. You cannot be stopping your own citizens from accessing their own country. I don't know how much education you need to just understand this. Your citizens are foremostly your responsibility.
Right.
That's why people can expel them from their countries. You have a responsibility to take them in and facilitate their reintegration into or their reaccessing their reaccess to their country. This is unacceptable. And if people, by virtue of this, are going to actually have to be disenfranchised, we are even further breaching their own human rights.
Right.
Honestly, I think this matter must be taken to court. I'm happy to participate in this.
There's no time, is it?
Look, there are many ways to deal with this. If on Monday, you know, frankly, if I were the Chief Justice, I mean, with all the negative news that have gone around me, this is a time to pick a call and talk to somebody. And let the public realize that the judiciary is also looking at things like this. Or possibly we open up the courts for anybody who wants to take action on this particular kind of matter. We are disenfranchising people. And for me, I come from the Volta region.
Right.
I'm a proud son of the Volta region, a proud son of a mother from Jamestown. I have Ghana roots, but I've not been raised as somebody particular to any. And we shouldn't take actions that seem to want to target particular kinds of people. Because this commentary coming from the MPP over time has been recurring. Let's not run away from it.
Indeed.
All right, do I believe them or not? I've always not really been too party politically active, but I see the lives of my fellow citizens being breached, and I feel really hurt by it. And I don't think the president should be going on this particular tangent. And I'm a former foreign minister.
Senor, we're going to have to end our conversation. We'll end our conversation now. But Senor Hosi, thank you so much for coming. I'll send it over to the guys there and join them there right now.
Well, rightly, so you would understand the concern that Senor raised, and Kemene, and he's not alone in this. And that reminds us of 2020, Martin, because at the eve of the same election in 2020, a decision was taken, communicated, that led to the people of Sal also not having representation effectively in the 8th Parliament for a 4-year period. Yeah. It's a kind of deja vu, but it's not one that the people would want to relive. But anyway, this is one that will tell you about that it's not ending today or now. This is your Election Command Center. We'll stay the steam on this matter and many others, okay, in the next few hours ahead of us. But it was done 7 hours. Is it not?
We are.
Yes, it's past.
Yes, 6 hours to open. So
Absolutely.
for those who are not asleep, so probably just go take a quick shower and then maybe you can start heading out. What we have heard is that some people have already started queuing up in some
It's good to know people are eager.
Yes.
People are eager and keen.
A lot of the pollsters have said that voter turnout is likely to be low, but if the special voting numbers are anything to go by, we should be expecting a high turnout in this year's election. And we'll be keeping a very close eye on the numbers as they come in.
Indeed, the countdown has officially begun.
It has, indeed. And we've been counting down since the last,
100 days.
At least for today.
For today.
The viewers started seeing the countdown right there after 13 hours thereabout. But I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us here on your Election Command Center. The coverage continues, as a matter of fact, at 6 a.m. today.
Indeed.
So tune in at 6 a.m. across all media journal platforms. Ghana Decides, Election Command Center. I am Alfred Okanse. That is Martin is here to that.
And Kemini Amano. Remember, election night with us will return.
Yeah, man.
Same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Shudis Brown. I'm a broadcast journalist here at TV3 in Media General. The election is here and is our mandate to maintain peace and stability. Remember that peace does not only start with our political parties, peace starts with you and me. Let's stay safe because there's life after elections.